on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Welcome back to another press conference reaction. We're back. It's been a while, hasn't it? Oh my goodness me, it feels like a lifetime since I was last with you here talking about some quotes, some questions, some reaction, talking about Erik ten Hag's reaction at Carrington, to the assembled media, to all of the questions posed ahead of a big Premier League match. It has been a hot minute, hasn't it? So big up to everyone. Welcome back to a press conference reaction. As I mentioned, Erik ten Hag has been talking to the assembled media at Carrington ahead of tomorrow's trip to the capital, to London, to face off against Brentford in the Premier League. A big match, 10 games left remain in the Premier League, 10 games, 10 finals between now and finding out whether Man United are going to be in the Champions League next season, which players are going to be back, what the title race is going to look like. Oh, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Club football is back and I'm excited, absolutely. So big up to everyone. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, you know what to do. Let's see what people are saying in the chat already as people file in. Get yourself settled in. Get yourself ready. We got some questions. We got some quotes. We got some team news. We're going to be bringing you all of it. Chris and his collectibles say hello, everyone. Hello, Chris. Riri, big up to Riri, long-time member, supporter of the channel, says, bless up, everyone. Big up to you. Calder Clan says, Owen as well. Paro says, big up, Owen. Big up, everyone in the chat. Yes, people filing in, getting their press conference questions, getting their press conference itch scratched. Yeah, that's what it's got to be all about. Alexander says, hi, Owen. I follow you all from Senegal in Africa. Big up to you as well. Yes, Gilliano also says, I enjoyed the international break, to be honest. The roller coaster season United are having has exhausted me. It was nice to go into one with a victory, and it was nice to kind of just sit on that feeling for 2 weeks. Even though as Man United fans, we're never allowed to, obviously, are we? I mean, we're never allowed to be happy for too long. Kind of immediately it's, you know, hey, Gareth Southgate, hey, new manager, hey, what about Gary O'Neill? Hey, what about someone else? What about someone else? Like, you can't be happy for too long. Heaven forbid you're happy for too long as a United fan, right? No. But speaking of happiness, we're going to be talking about some players returning. Yes, we're going to be talking about Martinez possibly being involved tomorrow for Manchester United against Brentford. We're going to be talking about Erik ten Hag being full of praise for Mainoo after his performances for England as well during the international break. We're also going to be talking about Luke Shaw, as Erik ten Hag has kind of a different prognosis to one that Gareth Southgate had about the Manchester United left back as well. So we're going to be chatting about all of it. Get your thoughts in, get your questions in as well. Chris also says here, Owen, how do you feel that Alonso rejected Liverpool? Yeah, I mean, that is also the news. I mean, it's not related to Manchester United whatsoever. But the news this lunchtime today, Xabi Alonso, he's not going anywhere. He's not going to Liverpool. He's not going to Bayern Munich. He's not going to Real Madrid. He's not going anywhere. Where he is going to go is exactly where he is, which is at Bayer Leverkusen. He's decided to stick around there, see out the project. And good for him, really. I think that it's what's going to be fun now is to see the Liverpool. I didn't want him anyway. I didn't want him anyway. Xabi who? Oh, he's not even a Liverpool legend. Why would I want him? Oh, they're going to be doing a lot of that. A lot of copium is going to be out there. I think, to me, really, it just says that he's going to go Real Madrid. I think he's got a release clause that comes into effect 2025, I think. And to me, that says, I think Carlo Ancelotti's contract runs out in 2026. You know, they could give or take a year. I think it means he's going to end up at Real Madrid. Doesn't want to go Liverpool. Doesn't want to go Bayern Munich now. And probably the right move for him also, too. I mean, he's only been Bayer Leverkusen manager, a year? So, yeah, win the Bundesliga, see how well they can do next year, and then he might make his decision. But, yeah, who cares? It's Liverpool. But it'd just be like... just watch the narrative change if they never wanted him and he was not even that good, blah, blah, blah. It will change because it always does. Georgia says, greetings, UV. Owen, staring at a cow's behind meant what again? This was the Dutch quote. If you have been a long time fan of the press conferences, not for everyone. They can be very dull. Hence why we're already diverting off into a different direction. We haven't even started yet. But it was a Ten Hag quote that we later found out was a quite well-known Dutch quote, or certainly a quote from where Ten Hag is from in the Netherlands about staring a cow in the backside or something like that, if I recall correctly. Someone could let me know. what that was again. It's been a while, but big up to you and appreciate the contribution as always. Right, let's talk about some questions. Let's talk about some responses. The first of which was put to the Manchester United manager, and it was asked, how was the international break for you? Very, very polite, very courteous to Erik ten Hag. It was from Simon Peachy, which I was shocked he didn't go with team news, because usually it's Eric, team news, what's going on with that? But he said, look, how was the international break for you? And with that huge win over Liverpool, how important is it that you don't let that be a false dawn, as we've also seen a few times this season? And this is what Erik ten Hag had to say. He said, it was a wonderful break. It is always good to go with a win into an international break. Definitely. Oh, sirens in the chat. An early one. You get a lot of those in the press conference reactions, don't you? Get a lot of sirens in the chat. Yeah, a lot. And because I swear it's only when I go live. I don't think I've heard one today. Don't even think I've heard one. As soon as I click that button, boop, live. Hey, there's some kind of emergency around the corner every single time. But yes, he said it was a wonderful break. It's always good to go with a win into an international break. Definitely with such a win. Players go on international duties, are in other teams, playing styles, systems. Now they return and we have to get back to where we were. Get them back into our way of play. Get them back in our team. Yesterday we started this process. It's a short slot, but we will be ready for tomorrow. So he had a wonderful international break, did Erik ten Hag, and the players are getting back and they're getting ready to have that game against Brentford as well. So a nice sort of soft question to start off with there for Eric. David Naheed's been a member for 20 months. Says, the return of Martinez. Please tell me we have good news. I'm calling here now a Marcus brace for tomorrow. Rashford 2. A Rashford double. Hey, it's possible. It's possible. There he is, right on the sidebar there. We're playing in the green kit tomorrow. That's what does worry me, to be honest, because what is our record like in that kit this season? I feel like United, when they've had the opportunity to play in either the green kit or the white kit, prefer to play in the white kit. We've had better results in the white kit this season. The green kit, we won. Where did we win in the green kit? Not many. I'm trying to think of the times we played it. We played in it against Arsenal and lost. We played in it against Forest in the Premier League and lost. Played in it against Sheffield United. Trevon, yeah, absolutely. Won that one. When else did we wear it? Not often. I'm saying, not often. Is that the only time? Is it only Sheffield United? Was that the only time it happened that we won in that kit this season? There's got to be one more than that, isn't there? Wolves away was white. That was the white kit. Because even when we played away against Nottingham Forest again in the FA Cup, I thought we were going to wear the green kit, and we didn't. We wore the white one, and we won. It's not that. It's a proper handful of times we've worn it, and Sheffield United. It's like, did we wear it in the Champions League? We wore the white one away at Galatasaray. Not often. Not often. It might be Sheffield United is the only time that we've worn it and won a game competitively. Not counting pre-season, but competitively this season as well. So, yeah, we're in the green kit tomorrow, which does make me nervous. It must be said. That one does make me nervous. Austin Baker's been a member for 20 months as well. Says, oh, dog, with a lot of G's there. Dog. Much love to the chat and have a blessed day. Vamos, the return of the butcher. Yes, big up to you and appreciate 20 months of support. 20. Terrific stuff from Austin Baker. So that was the first question about how Erik ten Hag's international break was. It's one of those kind of press conferences. Alexandra says Burnley away was the white kit as well, wasn't it? But I'm telling you, they don't like wearing that green kit that often. The majority of the time we have to switch to an alternative kit. It's been the white one this season, and I like the white kit this season, and also I just feel more comfortable with us playing in it, to be honest. So yeah. Right, next question was just about players returning, injuries and what have you, because of course we did come back off the international break with a few knocks. Erik ten Hag said there are players returning, they are back on the pitch, they are back in team training, we have one more training now, but it is most likely that we have some players back in the squad, because he kind of danced around, not literally, that would be very, very newsworthy, wouldn't it? But he kind of danced around this question a little bit, because he was asked about, obviously, Maguire, who came back with an injury from international break. He came back halfway through with that knock. And Simon Peach did mention something, and it worried me, but the fact that Erik ten Hag wouldn't talk about it, I don't know if it makes me more worried or less worried. I'll leave that to you to be the judge of. But he was saying that Kobbie Mainoo wasn't pictured in training yesterday. So he was sort of saying, does that mean he's come back with a knock? Does that mean he's injured? Like, was he fishing? I'm like, what does Simon Peach know? Is he hinting that Kobbie's hurt? Because if he is, Gareth, I would never forgive. I mean, I'm not going to forgive Gareth Southgate anyway, but he'd be even higher up on my shit list if Kobbie Mainoo comes back with a knock or an injury of international break. My hope it's just that he played twice during the international break, so it was just an extra day or anything like that. I hope it's that. But Ten Hag just basically said, look, there are players returning. They're back on the pitch. We're training today. We'll have some players back in the squad. So it was very non-committal on the Maguire stuff and the Kobbie stuff. But I did notice that. When Simon Peach said it. And I thought, I don't like that. But he didn't really dwell on it that much. So neither will we. Now, speaking of Kobbie Mainoo, he was asked about him, his thoughts about his performance for England during the international break, as well as if we have to kind of protect him with all of the hype that's building around him. Now, first of all, when it came to his performance during the international break for England, particularly the one in which he started against Belgium, Erik ten Hag said, I thought it was a very good display, but we are not surprised. We know what he's capable of. He can very quickly adapt to high levels. It looks very natural, and we are very happy for him. He also said, of course, we are also very proud. It's great for the academy of Manchester United to bring up a player so young going into the national team. It's a big compliment for the whole club, for himself, because he did it, but also the ones who worked with him during his time in the academy. It's very good news for Manchester United. Now, he was then asked, Ten Hag, about, obviously, because of how well he played, because of his age, because it's number 2, siren number 2 in the chat, tick. Because of how well he played, because he's from Manchester United, the hype, the media, the scrutiny that is surrounding him. Do Manchester United need to be careful with that? Do they need to manage that? Do they need to find a way to control that? And Erik ten Hag said, yes, but we have discussed this before. So far, he handles it very well. And if he crosses the line, of course, I as the manager, we as coaches will interfere. But so far it is not necessary, because he wants to play football, he wants to win, he wants to give his best every day because he wants to improve. He just wants to have fun on the pitch. Fun for him is to play dominant, to dictate the game, and to win the game. So he's very complimentary about Kobbie Mainoo, as he should be, really. I mean, he played very well, didn't he? I mean, it would be very bizarre if you've got every single person praising him for a very impressive performance for England on his when he makes his first start, and the manager came out and was like, he's rubbish. Of course he'd be very complimentary. But as he pointed out, I think he's in the same boat as the Man United fans, really. As much as we're all praising Kobbie Mainoo, and we praised him for how well he played for England against Belgium, I don't think any of us were surprised, because we've seen it every week. And I think that's where the disconnect has kind of come between Manchester United fans and opposition fans when it comes to Kobbie. For all of those people that were like, he's not that good, he's overrated, it's only because he plays for Manchester United, players at our club that I support are better and they should be getting a chance, no, just because he plays for United, blah, blah, blah. We're all going, no, you don't understand. You haven't watched him play every single minute this season. We have. We watch him every single week, and we're telling you he's the real deal. It's not because he's in an underperforming team. It's not just because he's young. It's not just because of injuries. He's the real deal. We knew this before pre-season. I mean, during pre-season, rather. We knew then let alone what we've seen throughout this season. And I genuinely think it was just a case of, one, if it's anything to do with United, just opposition's fans hate it because they don't like us and they don't like Man United because we ruined their childhoods. But also because maybe they don't watch Man United every single week, they just see the highlights or they just see the social media posts. They push back and go, oh, no, it can't be that good. And we go, no, look, watch with your eyes. Watch with your eyes, watch him play for 90 minutes, then tell me he's overrated. Then tell me he's rubbish. Then tell me he's not even that good and the players at your club are better than him. Because guess what? No one was. After that game against Belgium, all of those people that said, no, it's just because he plays for Man United, they all shut up very, very quickly, didn't they? Very fast. Because they see it. So, as Ten Hag points out, we're not surprised by that. When he was playing against Belgium, I wasn't surprised to see him doing what he was doing. If anything, you kind of expect it because he's playing with better players than he is at Man United. How can you be shocked that he plays so well when he's surrounded by technically gifted players, whereas at United, particularly in the midfield, he's not surrounded by technically gifted footballers in the middle of the park. So, of course, he's going to look fantastic for England because he's surrounded by like Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, etc., people that are so neat and tidy on the ball. So, not surprised in the slightest, deserves the amount of praise. And I think, as much as we haven't heard that much from him, Kobbie Mainoo, we're starting to hear a bit more, aren't we? He's doing a few more interviews. He's done a couple with MUTV, did a couple with like the BBC, and I saw he did one with TalkSport and did one with England's own in-house media. The more you hear him talk, I think his authenticity is fantastic. And the way you hear him talk, he's very calm, very reserved. He talks how he plays, really. You know, just very calm, very composed, very reserved. Not the biggest and most boisterous personality, but you don't need to be. And sometimes you don't want them to be either. And I think that he comes across really, really well. So I don't think that Erik ten Hag or Manchester United have to be worried about the hype about him getting too much or going to his head or him losing his way or anything like that, because he just doesn't come across as that kind of person. Now, I think from fans' point of view, and this is something I've mentioned on the morning shows recently, that I think we have to be a bit careful. Like, I'm not going to go as far as, when people get really over the top. He's Zidane, he's Luka Modric, he's this, he's that. Can he just be Kobbie? Can't he just be Kobbie Mainoo? Can't he just be the first version of himself as opposed to the reincarnation of some of the greatest players of all time? Does he have to be the next Xavi? Does he have to be Iniesta? Does he have to be all that? I don't think so. I don't think he has to be that. He can just be himself, and that's who I would want him to be. I want him to be Kobbie. I don't want him to be anyone else. So I think that's where we have to be a little bit careful. But at the same time, celebrate him. Celebrate his achievements. Celebrate his accomplishments. Celebrate how well he's playing. Celebrate when he does step into the spotlight and he lives up to the hype, because that's what he's done so far. So there's a fine line, but I'm pretty confident in the people to protect him and make sure it doesn't go to his head. And I think as fans, as long as we have seen that, haven't we? When people were kind of not attacking him, but attacking him being included in the squad, you saw the United fans immediately had his back going, no, you don't understand. This guy's the real deal. And you'll see it. And they did. And that was Man United fans doing good, I felt, certainly. Super chat here from Red Baron says, since you and Flex like being on the fence, are you going to become directors of Lil Yo-Yo's fence league? Well, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand the criticism for saying Man United are going to win a game 2-1. That seems very bizarre to me. And also, this whole stuff about sitting on the fence, I recall all of us, particularly Flex. I mean, I know Flex is known for the whole sitting on the fence, all that kind of nonsense, but Flex literally went on any platform he possibly could with chest and said that Man United were going to beat Liverpool, to the point that people were laughing at him. And that would have been the time to go, I don't know. But he did it with chest, and I don't really get that one. Yeah, and also there's this weird thing. Maybe it's just a case of how it is nowadays with social media and the footballing space or what have you. As I've said 10 million times, there's not allowed to be shades of grey, is there? Heaven forbid. You're not allowed to see both sides of the argument. You're not allowed to be somewhere in the middle. You have to be on one end or the other. You have to be Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out. You have to be this player's the worst player you've ever seen in your life, or he has to be good. They have to be this, they have to be that. That's it. Like, you're not allowed. It's not allowed. And also, if you change your mind, then you are a disgrace too. You're a disgrace if you change your mind on it. Heaven forbid. Don't do it. Come on. Even now, because for instance, tomorrow, if there's a negative result, it will be the question: are you Ten Hag out? You Ten Hag out? And that will be if you say, "I tell you what, today, manager got the tactics wrong." He's Ten Hag out. He's Ten Hag out. Just admit it. Just admit it. I know you are. Just say it, please. It's like they get some kind of weird satisfaction out of it. Just say it. I need you to say it. What? No. Say it. I can see it in your eyes. I know. I've done my detective work. I've got my notes here. It's Ten Hag out. I can see it. And then the comment below that is, these guys are so shamelessly Ten Hag in. It's awful. It's like, you cannot win. Oh, I haven't missed that over the last 2 weeks. Not at all. Next question was about Luke Shaw and Luke Shaw being available, because Gareth Southgate had said this week that Luke Shaw it was unlikely that Luke Shaw was going to be involved in the Euros or involved until the Euros, or he might miss the entirety of the tournament. So Erik ten Hag was asked about Luke Shaw and his availability and would he be back before the end of the season. And Erik ten Hag said quite bluntly, yes, I expect him to be back before the end of the season. He's still on schedule and will return to our team, which I kind of thought was always the prognosis with him. And I always thought that was kind of the schedule. Is Erik ten Hag said that maybe it got misinterpreted, but Erik ten Hag did always say that he was going to be back before the end of the season, but it might be like the last 2 games. So effectively, he's out for the rest of the season. And I think maybe people took that as he definitely wasn't going to play, whatever. But he will be back. It's just a case of if you're only back for the last 2 games, and you're going to miss a massive chunk of it, particularly when that was how many weeks ago? Did he limp off against Luton? Was a while ago. So, yeah, I think, like I said, I think maybe people kind of misinterpreted that one. I mean, I've said it a million times now with Luke Shaw. We need a new left back in the summer. We cannot rely on him. I don't think he goes anywhere in the summer, Luke Shaw, but I don't think Ten Hag in good faith can talk about wanting to build a team with consistently available players and then have Luke Shaw as your starting left back. The proof is there. The sample size is pretty large when it comes to Luke Shaw and his injuries and his availability. We know that he's not going to be available for the majority, or at least for the whole season. You know he's not going to be available for all of it. You know there's going to be a point where he gets injured and he's out for weeks, months, maybe even longer, right? So going forward, they need to find that left back. They need to find that replacement. And then maybe Luke Shaw can be the backup of, okay, you might find it might be a situation a bit like with a lot of these injury-prone players that once they stop becoming the first choice, suddenly they become available more often because they're not having to play every single week. So I think, need a new left back. But Shaw might be available for the end of the season. And let's hope we're still going to have important games by that point. I mean, the FA Cup final is final game of the season. So he might be involved for the FA Cup final, perhaps, which would be good. But maybe by that point, hey, if Aaron Wan-Bissaka keeps up the level of performances he had against Liverpool, then Shaw might even struggle to get back in the team anyway when he is available at the end of the season. Because Wan-Bissaka, if you can step into left back and then lock up Mo Salah for the whole game, that's pretty good going. And I know the Liverpool fans, they push back on that. Lock him up. Wow, he did score. So how is that locking up? Mo Salah did nothing in that game. Nothing. He happened to be literally in the right place at the right time to kick the ball in the back of the net where it was empty. So he did a fantastic job. And he'll start at left back tomorrow, no doubt about it. But Luke Shaw could be back before the end of the season as well. A couple of other questions here. One was saying that a lot's happened since Man United's last trip to Brentford. It was Erik ten Hag's second game of his United tenure. He was asked how significant was that game? Was it a bit of a turning point for Ten Hag and his team? And Ten Hag said it was such a long time ago. They've come very far from that point. After it, we put down a marker on the mentality, the culture, the standards day by day, and we've made a lot of progress since then. He was also asked about Brentford and their quality of set pieces. He said he was asked that Brentford are a master of set pieces. Is that something you've looked at? Ten Hag said, we know that. Many teams in the Premier League are. We have progressed as well. We have to be ready. We will be ready. That is something that does concern me a bit, the set pieces tomorrow, because I feel like that's Brentford's really their best chance. We are particularly vulnerable at set pieces, aren't we? And we have been for a while. But we are particularly vulnerable at set pieces. And you could see there being a lot of pressures on corners, long throws. Because was one of their goals a long throw last season? I forget. There was the one which was the shot De Gea fumbled it in the net. There was the one that was the pass out to Eriksen, gets caught, puts it in the back of the net. There was the one that was the counter-attack all the way. And then what was the other one? Was that a corner? Or was it a long throw? I forget. But I think it might have been a corner. It might have been a set piece. But that is a concern, definitely, for tomorrow. But one thing I will say about that, when it comes to crosses, throw-in, set pieces, is Andre Onana, particularly against Manchester City, at the Etihad, I thought was brilliant in terms of claiming crosses, coming out, punching the ball. So I do have faith in him to come out and claim it. Earlier on this season, he did flap at a few crosses and infamously took out that Wolves player, didn't he, by flying into him. But he has one of the better statistics, I think, with claiming crosses and punches out. So I do have a bit of faith in Andre Onana to deal with any corners, any throw-ins, any crosses that are put into the box tomorrow as well. Because, he certainly did that against Manchester City at the Etihad too. And finally, he was asked about Lisandro Martinez, or as Kenny would say, Martinez, if Martinez, the butcher, Leacher, is going to be involved tomorrow. And Erik ten Hag said, quote, yes, there is a chance he could be back in the squad. We have missed him every game because he brings a composure in the team, a calmness in the team, at the same time, a winning attitude, and he can express this very clearly. He can transfer that into the team, and that contributes a lot to our levels. Of course, it was reported earlier on today by Insider United that Martinez was a bit of a doubt for tomorrow. It might be too soon for him, but we shall see. It might be a case of he's on the bench. I do recall earlier this year, was that against Spurs, where he was on the bench and then one of the centre-backs went off injured and he had to come on. I could see maybe a similar situation. I mean, the hope would be that he gets some form of game time prior to the Liverpool game next week. That would be the hope. And I don't know if that's going to be against Chelsea. I don't know if he starts on the bench and then gets brought on tomorrow. Starts against Chelsea, starts against Liverpool. That might be too much too soon for him because you don't want to rush him back at all. And it does make me a bit nervous with Martinez. We know how much of an important player he is, how crucial he is. It makes me nervous that he is so instrumental to how we play, in the sense of if he doesn't play, apparently we can't build out from the back at all. Like, that really needs to be addressed next season with the centre-backs that we are attempting to sign in the summer, and we'll definitely get at least one, maybe even two. They all have to be of that same profile, that playing out from the back is completely easy for them. They can step into midfield, absolutely no problem. They're totally comfortable on the ball. Because it does make you worry, doesn't it, that, oh, Martinez is injured, now we can't pass out from the back anymore. Or that's one of the excuses, isn't it, of why is our style of play gone to shit? Oh, because we've got this one player missing. That's a problem. We have to be... that kind of style of play has to permeate through the entire squad, regardless of who comes in, comes out. You do have to have other options, which is why I've been saying about Scott McTominay. You do have to have that other option on the bench. And certain games might require certain pivots or changes or tweaks to your style of play. But that does make me a bit concerned. And also, just the medical department worries me in general about rushing anyone back, particularly after the Casemiro news. We didn't get any Casemiro questions today, by the way. That might come into effect in the embargoed part. We'll discuss the embargoed part of the press conference in the pre-match part of tomorrow's match view. But it'll be interesting to see if anyone did ask about Casemiro. But no doubt we miss Martinez. We're better off with him. Very clear to see. I don't subscribe to the Kenny theory that he's injury prone or anything. I think that he's been incredibly unfortunate with his injuries. He's just had a real rough year, because around this time last year he hurt his foot against Sevilla, wasn't it? It's been incredibly unlucky. His foot gets caught in the ground against Sevilla and breaks it. Has surgery on it. It's a botched job. Not the first botched job when it comes to surgeries at Manchester United, by the way, but has a surgery on his foot. That goes wrong. Has to get surgery on it again. Gets fixed. Starts to build up some momentum. West Ham player falls on his leg. His knee bends the wrong way, and he's out for a couple of months. There's not a lot you can do at all. There's nothing you can really do about that. So he's very, very unfortunate there. And the hope would just be that, one, that doesn't happen to him again in the sense of a bit of bad luck, like a contact injury. Someone doesn't go through him. Someone doesn't fall on his leg. His foot doesn't get caught in the ground. But then also you don't want to rush him back to put too much stress on the knee and then he does something worse. But we have to hope that doesn't happen as well. You reckon Casemiro has probably been saying to him, I know you've been cleared by these doctors. You want to check up mine in Barcelona, please? 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 I think you probably should. Just go check with them. Or maybe whilst he was out with the Argentina national team, he was checked out by their doctors and he happened to be in America as well. Maybe just check. Just check like that. That's fine. Yeah, maybe just double check. Just in case. But Leacher could be involved tomorrow. Again, didn't talk about Harry Maguire. Didn't talk about Casemiro. Didn't talk about Mason Mount. But I wouldn't be shocked if they come up in the embargoed part of the press conference, which, as you mentioned, will be covered tomorrow. For the match view, we kick off tomorrow at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. Just ridiculous. But we kick off tomorrow at 8 p.m. UK time. That means we'll be live 6 p.m., 2 hours before. I'll be with you, bringing you all the pre-match stuff, some embargoed quotes. We'll be talking about some stuff in the news that happens as well. We'll be giving you the team news once the team news comes out, some general chit-chat about the game too. And then half an hour before kickoff, we'll be going over live to UVHQ with Flex, KG, and the whole panel there to guide you through the game. Afterwards, of course, we'll have the full-time view for members that can call in and have their say. Everyone can watch, but members can call in. We'll have fan views, player ratings, the whole stuff as well. As far as what's on tap for the rest of the day as well, we've got the Trinity podcast coming out at 6 p.m. Flex, KG, and myself for episode 9. I think it's episode 9 it is. So always a lot of fun. So that'll be coming out at 6 p.m. So be sure to join us then. Anyway, guys, click the like button. We're not even at 100. We're not even at 100 likes. Oh, my goodness me. We're not even at 100 likes. And that's funny as well. You do see those comments. We say, click the like button. Not so much begging, just because people forget. I mean, I do it all the time. And you get people so angry. Oh, my goodness me. Stop begging for likes, damn it. I just come here to get football news, to get Manchester United news. How dare you? Don't tell me to click the like button. And you know what I would say to that? Don't do it then. It's all right. We're not reaching through the screen and grabbing your finger like, click it, please, against your will. No, I don't want to. Click it. No. It's just more. People forget. We do it all the time. How dare we? Stop begging for it. Don't. Hey, the internet can be very angry. Very, very angry. It can be too much. And if you hated that, you don't have to like it. It's all right. Anyway, guys, we'll be back at 6 p.m. for the Trinity. And be sure to subscribe whilst we're out of it. Not a beg, though. I'm out of here. Peace.